Hello there guys, welcome to the build video of the Stonespeaker class. Now Stonespeaker class consists of Rune and Earth Mastery. So this is the second to last I think. I've got one more to do after this regarding the Rune classes. So Rune and Earth is this one. So there are a number of ways you can go with it. Most of them will be quite similar skill wise. I mean, you can go with the melee weapons, or you could instead be a caster and have a staff. Although most of the skills will be quite similar because some of the skills will be synergizing together to boost your damage potential. So I'll go through here. So first of all, let's go through the Rune Mastery. So Rune Weapon will be one of your key trees. So if you see, I actually maxed everything here. I'd say getting the base skill is important, so that's because it's going to boost your elemental and total damage and your intelligence. So you're going to be using a lot of elemental damage with this class. You also do some elemental damage, like flat elemental damage with its synergy magical charge. Then you got the energy drain, which is very good debuff, so I would recommend that as well. And also transmutation. But transmutation I would only recommend if you're going melee, so then it can convert your physical damage into elemental. But if you're using a staff, you'll be dealing elemental anyway, so you will not need anything in transmutation. So Sacred Rage is good for pretty much any rune class, because it's it triggers whenever you go low on health, so it's very good. I wouldn't go Reckless Offense because you'd probably want to still have a shield with this class, so Reckless Offense is better for warriors. Energy Armor, usually there are better skills you can go for, so I wouldn't really recommend that one. Runeward Feather, I would only go that for the melee class, because you'd be relying on offensive ability, and also reduction in the strength requirement for weapons also will be useful. But if you're going for staff, if you be a caster mainly, then you can forget about this skill. Now Runeward Explode, that'll be pretty useful. I'd actually say even max it fully, because it deals quite a lot of fire damage and burn damage, and since your second master is Earth, you'd want this fire damage here to synergize with any of the Earth skills, because Earth relies on fire mainly, so this would be a nice addition to what Earth can offer. And it triggers like by itself, it's at maximum level, it's got 20% chance to be used, so that's like 1 in 5 hits pretty much. I would get, Runeward Absorb, I wouldn't say it's completely essential, but getting at least 1 point in it would be quite nice to absorb some energy from enemies. If you do have spare points and you want to max it, then that's fine as well. Thunderstrike, an amazing skill for pretty much any rune class, so I always go for that, even though it doesn't actually rely on fire, but it's still a powerful skill. I'd definitely get that, both with the melee and with the caster. With the melee you'd rush forward, and with the caster you would just do like a flurry of projectiles at once. Seal of Fate, I wouldn't really recommend it because you've got plenty of other spells you could use, and Earth's Eruption actually would be a better choice for one of those stationary damage spells, so I wouldn't go for Seal of Fate, and same for Runic Mines. I mean, unless you absolutely swimming in spare skill points, I wouldn't really go for it. Rune of Life, good for pretty much any rune class, so I would go for that. You'd be getting some nice resistances, bleeding and vitality resistances, and also some bonuses to your stats, so I would go for that. Menrir Wall and Guardian Stones, I'd say there'll be plenty of other skills you'd want to spend your skill points on, so you probably won't have enough. I mean, for specific builds this could be quite nice, but I'd say there are better skills you can go for. Okay, so now let's move on to Earth. So in Earth, a really nice synergy, like a really nice addition to the damage you will already be dealing, would be your Earth Enchantment tree. So if you remember, we had Rune Weapon in the Rune Mastery, and Rune Weapon is a left mouse button skill. Now Earth Enchantment is a permanent enchantment skill, so you'd activate it, and then together with Rune Weapon, you'll be improving your bonuses by so much. I mean, if you look in Earth Enchantment, you get plus 100% fire damage at maximum level and plus 100% burn damage, and then Rune Weapon, that does plus 25% elemental damage, plus 25% total damage, and another 100% intelligence as well. So all those all those bonuses just stack up, and it's going to be pretty amazing. And I'll go for Brimstone as well. probably not quite as much if you're, although you could gain benefit from it even as a caster. I mean, the main reason to get Brimstone is because of the physical damage increase. So for melee, it's definitely a must. But I'd say even for a caster, because it gives some burn damage, and even though it's little burn damage, but considering that you'll be getting bonuses to improving your burn, that could be quite nice actually. Although I wouldn't say it's a priority, so you'd want to get other skills first and then probably leave that for later. I'd say volatility, that's a good one, because that's going to be increasing your damage potential as well. So it's like 1 in 3 hits is pretty much going to be significantly stronger than all the others. So huge amounts of physical fire and burn damage increases. Heat shield, it's actually been changed since the original game, like in the anniversary edition they changed it. So it's actually got 100-second duration. So it's actually going to be like, no matter how much damage you take, it's not going to be removed by damage, it's going to be removed by when time's out, basically. So I'd put at least 1 point in it. If you're able, if you have enough spare skill points, you probably will as a caster. You could put more in this, because at maximum level it gives you 65% damage absorption, which is pretty great. But if not, even just at 1 level, it gives you 10% damage absorption and also 15% damage resistance. Now, the difference between them is that damage resistance only applies to physical damage, while damage absorption, that applies to all damage types. Stoneform, usually a 1 point wonder, so if you find yourself that you need a panic button when survival is at stake, then 1 point in Stoneform can be quite useful, just to, to give you a chance to quickly recover and drink a health potion. Now, I don't have enough spare skill points for a Core Dweller, and Core Dweller is usually good for most Earth classes, but I didn't have enough spare skill points for him, so I'd say if you're going melee, you probably won't need him, but if you're a caster and if you're a bit fragile, you might want to pop a few points in him, and if you're going for him, you don't want to go, as many points as possible in the base skill and inner fire to make him stronger, and metamorphosis, but wildfire, probably 1 point is enough, really. Ring of Flame, it's not a bad skill as well, but again, there's other better skills you could go for. I mean, this is good if you're going as a sort of passive aura kind of character type, passive aura build. So for the most part, I wouldn't really go for it. Flame Surge, again, you got much better skills to go for, so Flame Surge might be a bit too skill point hungry and not quite as great as some others you can get. Volcanic Orb is a good skill, but considering that you can get Eruption for fewer skill points, I'd go for Eruption instead rather than Volcanic Orb. Although Volcanic Orb is quite good early game until you can get your Earth Mastery tree all the way up to the top and get Eruption. So you can get Eruption, and then that would be quite a nice and powerful skill to lay down on the ground, Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, if I pretty much went through the differences between melee and caster, but I'll cover them again. So in Rune, if you're going caster, you would not go for transmutation because you already be dealing fully elemental damage, and then you'd also ignore the Rune with Feather as a caster. You would not need that. Yeah, and that would pretty much free up some skill points, which you can either put somewhere in Heat Shield or maybe get a Core Dweller. And just to cover the attribute points, so for melee, that's going to be trickier because you'd need to be distributing your attribute points between strength, intelligence, and dexterity, all 3 of them. So strength will play quite an important role, since you'll be dealing, if you're hitting with a melee weapon, you'll be dealing a lot of physical damage, and physical damage bonuses are good because with transmutation you'll be converting that into elemental damage, so any physical damage bonuses will help with this class as well. So I would go for strength and intelligence as your main ones, and just put some points in dexterity as well, so that your offensive and defensive ability doesn't lag behind completely. So a ratio of 2 to 2 to 1 is pretty much going to be suitable, or anything sort of close to that, doesn't have to be exact. For a caster, you're going to ignore strength completely. You're not going to need strength as a caster because you're not going to be dealing physical damage. It's going to be purely elemental. And for that, you mainly concentrate on intelligence. So and some dexterity as well you need. So either 2-to-1 ratio between intelligence and dexterity, or even 3-to-1, or something around those numbers. And I mean, watch your energy as well. You might want to put a few points in energy just to make sure you're, because there's quite a lot of energy, high energy cost skills involved here. So you might want to get a few energy points to maximize your total energy. But yeah, that's pretty much Stonespeaker. So I hope that was useful, and if you got any ideas of your own, or maybe some cool strategies, cool builds that have worked out, then mention them in the comments, so maybe it will help someone. And see you guys in the last build video, because I think I still got one more rune build left to do, so I'll see you guys in that. Bye bye.